So let's roll, I suppose.
It's in both money and time.
Yeah, it's actually an important thing that you mentioned.
Good, but you have problems here and there.
What steps, if you could take me or guide me through this process?
Well, this is a very good question.
Two things, like two different approaches.
Definitely, or you need QA engineer.
Okay, got it. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to invite you to our new podcast. And today we're going to discuss the technical part about product modernization. We touched a lot of topics with my co-founder Art, considering design or user experience part of things. But definitely it's only a part, most of the cases, like a tiny part of product upgrade. So today I'm happy to be on this podcast with Andrew, who is our Chief Technical Officer and Head of Engineering. And together we will try to uncover the key things about legacy modernization. So Andrew, a few words about yourself.
Yeah, hi Kos, hi everyone. Thanks that you invited me. I'm happy to be here and to discuss this interesting topic about the software modernization.
So let's roll, I suppose. Again, it's really good that we can discuss it together because we get a lot of questions about the best way to approach modernization, what pitfalls are possible, what things you need to consider in terms of your internal resource allocation, and so on and so forth. But the first question I have to you would be more like a general. So can you please tell what is necessary to consider for a business when they think about legacy app modernization? What things you think are important?
Okay, yeah, thank you for this question. Basically, this is what the first thing that we need to discuss, and the third thing that business needs to think about when it's coming to software modernization. So there are many factors that affect this, but basically most critical and common are security, performance, maintenance, and general legacy state of the software. So let's briefly talk about each of these things. So the first and most major, I would say, factor is security, because security potential issues or existing issues and the need to meet different regulations, compliances, so on, are usually the factors that force businesses to find solutions, as they just couldn't have a significant impact and even stop operations because of these kind of issues. And software modernization could be an efficient way to deal with these issues. So the second factor that I've mentioned is performance. So it's usually it's much wider than just like response time from a web page. So it's could be general performance of a system, yes, and it includes scalability, amount of operations and data that system is capable to proceed, and some possible bottlenecks and so on. And there is not just an issue that prevents growth, but it could lead to additional operational expenses and customer churn. So it's also very important thing. The short one is the cost of maintaining. So, and then it's in both money and time, because the complexity of the legacy code increases exponentially. So each change or new feature requires more and more time to implement and test it. And the problem could happen even if you are not making any changes, right? So if you are saying that, okay, this works well and we don't need to make any changes, but there could be some external factors like hardware or operation systems or drivers or other, like any third party components that you are using, they become unsupported or obsolete, and this just causes your whole or part of your system to fail. and the business depends on it on this. So there could be a need for modernization in this case as well. And yeah, the last but not least, the factor is the general legacy state of the software that it includes old-fashioned UI, no support of modern devices or hardware, yeah, usage of obsolete technologies, tools, protocols, standards, whatever. And in the modern world, it could be extremely important, especially for the B2C market, where people expect some modern things. They expect that every business will go with the new technology trends. So, because it's just expected from customers nowadays that everyone is modernizing these things.
Yeah, it's actually an important thing that you mentioned. I always tell this thought, communicate this thought to our potential customers and existing customers that you need to take into account the competition. And I'm not telling about similar applications that could be in the market or in the industry. You might be the best one in class, for sure, but people also use modern application daily, and the competition is growing there. So people already expect another level of experience, and I'm not talking about only the interface part, but how it works, how quick it is. And these things also need to be taken into account because you need to upgrade. It's kind of like a debt that's growing over the time, especially in the technical part of things. That at a certain point of time you need to resolve. And I thought that usually you need to think about renovation every 2 to 3 years. Otherwise, your competitors might be a lot more agile and quick in this regard. So, Andrew, I totally agree about everything you just said. And I guess the logical next step or next question we should discuss is the approach. What steps, if you could take me or guide me through this process, a company should take when they actually go for this legacy app modernization. So, what would be your take on it?
Yeah, so basically, when or even before a business makes a decision for modernization, yeah, they definitely should start with some kind of research or audit of to understand where they are, where they want to be, what they want to achieve, yeah, and how to move from here to there. So, and there are many ways to do this, many frameworks to use, and many approaches, but I would say that the common roadmap includes like these 3 4 steps. Yeah, like the first one is evaluation. So it is a deep dive into the legacy software, including functionality, known issues, and user pain points, bottlenecks, architecture and infrastructure, code quality, and future business needs. So to understand all these aspects, yes, and sometimes it's done internally. Sometimes businesses involve some external uh, people or external teams just uh, to have a fresh eye, yeah, and to be more effective on this stage, because not all the time the company has the enough expertise to evaluate properly all these pieces. So next step is basically based on this evaluation, businesses should choose their strategy. So are they going with evolutionary path, like changing their existing software iteratively, yes, upgrading most critical pieces and leaving others as is, or they are choosing another approach with building from scratch based on newer technologies. So for the first option, they could combine encapsulation and refactoring as like the mostly commonly used practices. Yeah, and for the second one, it's usually rebuilding and replacement strategy when they are rebuilding their product or replacing some components, yeah, to more modern things. And the third step, yeah, when the strategy is selected, we should move forward with the implementation. And it's important to keep this process in phases to minimize negative impact on the running processes and coordinate each phase with the business needs. The implementation stage requires robust CI/CD processes, yeah, to be in place to smoothly deliver new or upgraded pieces of software to their internal and external customers. So, and businesses should always remember that software modernization is usually an investment, yeah, and it is not just an operational expense; it's an investment into the future of the business.
Yeah, it totally makes sense, and I really like what you just told. That software modernization is an investment, not your expense. So this is something that I guess every business should think about and plan accordingly in their budgeting. And I guess another thought that like resonates with me is about the need to slice this process into phases. As all of us know, a lot of things might change, and any significant change, especially if you do it on the customer facing part of your applications, might also cause a lot of resistance from existing users or customers. So this is something that we also had in our practice when we were rebuilding banking applications. And initial thing that we did was just reskinning or like facelifting, as we called it, of existing applications because it was really quick to do and because it won't look too different for the existing customers. And kind of be already show that everything is evolving. So your customers would witness that you're already investing in it and feel that the application will be upgraded, will be more innovative in the future. And then step by step, it was done on all the parts. So we were redoing the flows in terms of design. We were doing the front end technologies, the mobile technology, connecting all the dots with the core banking and the middleware. So all those things definitely should be taken into steps because otherwise doing everything at once could lead you to problems and not to say like a disaster. So that's how it put it.
Yeah, definitely, because any like modernization of the big system, yeah, it's a process, and it's better to go step by step, so it's not just one large jump. Yeah, you need to consider this as a like some stairs, yeah, that you are following, you are coordinating each step with the whole business and to not ruin processes that work, to support operations and move forward.
Okay, got it. So, Andrew, again, we agree with you that such things as legacy app modernization is definitely a part of a company strategy because it also would show how the company is growing and answering the current questions of the markets and trends and so on and so forth. So, speaking about the strategy part, how to choose the right one? So, what things you need to consider when you going this route? So, what is your opinion?
Well, this is a very good question since there is no like a silver bullet for this, and you need to take many factors into account, including ones that you can't measure or predict. Right, so it's really it's a like in all businesses, yeah, it's a business decision that you have many unknown things, many factors, but basically, let's try to figure out the main principles, yeah, of how to deal with this problem. So, first, you need to understand and prioritize your business objectives for this modernization that we have discussed. Yeah, we have discussed previously, and also take into account risks like timing, potential impact on operations and future, and so on. So this is the first thing you need to take into account. Then you need to understand the current technical conditions because heavily outdated code or complicated architecture, well, this could be a this could lead to your decision to have like a rebuilding, because if you have the complicated things already that doesn't meet new business requirements, yeah, or changed processes, then rebuilding is the good way and good strategy for you. While a well-structured code base with a specific bottlenecks or known issues might benefit from refactoring. So this is like when you have everything good, but you have problems here and there, but in general it's all good. That the better approach is to refactor or rewrite some specific bottlenecks, fix some issues, and this will be probably your best strategy. And also the next factor, yeah, is for sure resource constraints. So it could be budget, yeah, for upfront investments and operational expenses, maintenance costs, and also it could be constraints in technical expertise and human resources. That could be like what you have in house or what you are outsourcing for the full whole modernization process or specific phases of it. So you need to take into account these constraints as well, because these could actually make a huge impact on selection strategy. And you always should remember that there is no single best answer. Yeah, and you can, yeah, well, but the good thing about this is that you can combine strategies. So you can use refactoring for core functionality that is very like critical and sensitive, and you can just have some refactoring, yeah, and minimal changes there with this kind of approaches. And you can rebuild, for example, some peripheral components. If you have problems with them, you can easily replace them, yeah, or rebuild from scratch, for example, not touching and making huge changes to the core functionality. Or vice versa. Again, if you have your core functionality like in a very bad condition or very outdated, and your infrastructure, yeah, or some additional components are okay, modern enough, then you are rebuilding your core and slightly evaluate everything else. So you can combine this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. It's really important to align in these expectations beforehand, and that's why we always convince our clients to go through some kind of discovery stage that helps us to plan things accordingly, especially if the stakes are high. And by stakes, I mean definitely the impact, mainly in terms of the money. And you need to take the step because you will reduce a lot of risks from the consequent engineering part. So I definitely recommend doing that. And another thing that I really liked about your take on it, that you need to take into consideration all the constraints. And definitely it's kind of like common sense, but at the same time, we always show our clients one of the key slides in our pitch deck of ArtGuy, that there are several things that you need always think about. First is your resources. So how much money and time you have to do it. You need to take into consideration your business context, what kind of goals you want to achieve, the user context, what kind of value you have to provide in order to be relevant. And of course, you also need to take into consideration the technical part of things. So, what things you need to do in order to be innovative enough for the current demand. That's how I would put it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's very important things, and you always need to plan your modernization. So do not start just like do not jump into it. Do not make uh, like bad decisions or decisions that you are not sure. Yeah, if you are not sure about the main decisions, then try to split the task into pieces and make decisions on each task separately. Probably there will be different approaches, as I said, and it will be the better way to go with this general like modernization task.
So, Andrew, even though we live in the era of AI, still most of the things, especially with legacy applications, is done by humans. So that's why I think you can predict my next question. If we think about this kind of projects, what team would be required to actually make it happen? What do you think?
Yeah. Basically, again, AI is just a tool, so it's not a replacement for a human being. So you need to use these tools properly, but you need a team that is actually driving and leading the process. So, and the ideal team for modernization is like it will vary depending on the complexity of the application, the chosen strategy, the task that needs to be done. But generally, you will want a team like with mix of expertise. So, because modernization includes many aspects. It's not just coding. Yeah, it's more than that. It's really a whole software development process. And first of all, for this, in the team for modernization, you need a solution architect. So this is a role. Basically, it could be not a dedicated person, but this role should be covered. And this is the role the person who will lead the overall modernization plan, understand the existing system, choose the right approach, yeah, and design the modernized architecture if we are rebuilding the architecture of the system. The next role will probably that you probably will need here is a business analyst who bridges the gap between technical aspects and business needs. And business analyst understands the current functionalities and future business requirements, and he guides the modernization effort. And in some cases, again, as I mentioned, solution architect could cover this role as well, especially in case of a tech-oriented business. So it could be not a dedicated person; it could be one person that covers both roles. But again, it depends. Then you definitely need software developers. Well, and these software developers should have the expertise in both the legacy technology and modern development tools, so they can refactor, rebuild, or replatform the application components. Also, definitely, you need QA engineer, quality assurance engineers, to ensure that modernized application functions as intended. And what is even more important, I would say, is that nothing has been broke from in the legacy code. So you need QA engineers in order to manage these things, and you need someone who will coordinate all this. Yeah, usually it's a project manager or it could be a product manager, again depending on the specific task. And this person will keep the project on track, manage timelines, budgets, and communication between team members and stakeholders. So this, I would say, a core team. And in addition, depending on the specifics, there could be other roles required, like DevOps engineers, like security specialists, data migration engineer, so on. And also, yeah, if modernization touches the front end part of the application, like a web or mobile or desktop, yeah, then the team will need support of UX UI designers that should be focused on creating a modern and user-friendly interfaces for the modernized application.
So one thing that comes to my mind is because you mentioned the front facing part again regarding the user experience. That's in most of the projects of this kind. They're kind of like asynchronic. So usually the technical part is done slightly, slower, primarily because there has to be a lot more resources and everything moves. not the same not in the same pace as things move in their front-facing parts. So most of our projects, I would say, they um, be divided into two groups. So one group for when we do the design first, and it's probably also like a big chunk of work. Then we give it to the front-end team, and in the meantime, the backend also tries to connect all the dots to make it happen, or the otherwise. Some of the like the logic parts are already upgraded, and we need kind of like also decide how the front facing part could be adjusted according to it. So two things, like two different approaches, and I wanted to ask what you think about the best way to do it. So could it be done like in parallel, or it's impossible?
Well, it's definitely could be in part. Some processes could be done in parallel, but this is where the project manager or like engineering manager could be very important in these things to properly build like a schedule of this project. Yeah, build a schedule and figured out the, where there are milestones, yeah, where there are dependencies, how it's better to uh, implement or how it's better to structure the process into phases so the general pace is synchronized. Yeah, so we are speaking about asynchronous process in different sub teams or yeah squads, how we call them in IT, and but these asynchronous processes should also have some synchronization points. They could be milestones. There could be some kind of like if we are speaking about like Scrum, it could be sprints. Yeah, but there should be these synchronization points, and it's very important from the management standpoint. Yeah, to manage these things accordingly.
So Andrew, and again, I guess all the roles you mentioned are definitely essential, if not vital, for this kind of projects, legacy app modernization or product upgrades, especially for enterprise scale of products. So, but what do you think about splitting the roles? Because there is a part you need to do on the maintaining the existing business, or like business as usual, and there is also parts you need to do for this upgrade. And most of the cases, it is done by different teams. So one part could be done by in-house, one part could be done by the software development teams like Archive, for example. So how do you think it could be split, in your opinion?
Well, you're absolutely right. So, because maintenance and operations still needs to be covered by the existing team, so there are several approaches, yeah, to perform the modernization. And first of all, business can just expand their IT department, yeah, with a modernization team, but this is a quite expensive and time-consuming process because the building a team for modernization inside a company could take months or even like half a year. Yeah, for example, when you it's just a preparation for to start the modernization process. And this makes sense only if the expected duration of the modernization is more than like I would say couple of years, because it's a hard process and a lot of investments even before you start the actual modernization. The second option is like an external team that works on a project on this project. Yeah, it could be like project based approach, or it could be augmentation for the business for their department. And like hiring a consulting firm specializing in legacy modernization could bring a wealth of experience and specific skill sets for the project. So it's a good approach when you have already like trained team, not just individual specialists, but the whole team. And it's very hard to just hire the whole team by yourself. Yes, you need to build team. If you hire a team through some company, then it makes sense and it's much faster at start. And or you basically could combine, these two approaches and have some hybrid. And when you have a combination of your internal team's knowledge for the legacy application and with external partners expertise in modern technologies. In this case, it's a much faster and easier start with no long onboarding into your legacy system, and the knowledge transfer works much smoother. And the key is to choose a team that has competence, that is required for the chosen modernization strategy, and ensure effective communication and collaboration between all team members and stakeholders. So this is one of the, I would say, a pillar to successfully modernize. When you have a effective, experienced team that can implement this, and you ensure that communication and collaboration is good, because in any case a part of this process will be on the business side. The product owners are usually there, the internal and external customers are from there, and you need to make sure that they collaborate effectively.
Got it, got it. And logically, Andrew, I guess we should touch the key question. Generally, again, I guess everyone understands why you, as a business, need to go this path, even though it's rather complex. Strategy of it is really complex to come up with. It takes a lot of resources, again, money, time. It involves a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, energy. So why you should actually go for it? So what value you actually receive from this investment, from this route? So what is your take on it?
Well, the legacy application modernization, can bring variety of benefits to your business, but uh, it's also important to be aware of some potential challenges. So let's start from challenges first. And the one is complexity. So depending on the chosen strategy and application size, modernization could be a complex process, that requires careful planning and execution. And we can add integration challenges also, because the application still needs to be integrated with other probably legacy systems or hardware. But however, maintenance of the legacy application could also be complicated and challenging. So, and this complexity will increase each next year. So basically, it's always good to think and evaluate the need of modernization before it starts, like the complexity of the existing legacy code prevents your business from growth and operation. And another main challenge is sure upfront investments. As it's usually not just cost of modernization itself; it could be also ongoing costs for both like old and new systems that should operate in parallel during the transition period. Again, depending on the selected strategy, but there are much more positive incomes from modernization. And basically, the positive income starts from your general companies like benefits. Yes. So it's usually better security and compliance. Yes, because uh, upgrading security, like it's it's very important for business. Sometimes it's just a deal breaker for many businesses, and like enhancing of the security, like it helps to reduce the risks of like breaches issues, avoid costly compliance issues, and so on. The next benefit is like better product performance and efficiency. And again, it's not just about the speed how your customer like operates with some piece of software like a website or mobile application, but it's also a performance of how you can scale, yeah, how easily you can scale, how fast you can grow your customers. And like it's resulting in a quicker response time, quicker like sales cycles. For example, it's in improved user experience where people like your product and use it more and more. And like also better UI UX is also a part of this, because often like user experience nowadays, it's very important. As we mentioned, it's one of the key thing that customers actually take into account when they are selecting like a product or choosing a vendor or platform that they work with. So customers and employees satisfaction from both performance and user experience is a key thing in the modern world. And definitely benefit and cost savings in like medium and long term, because uh, after modernization, usually companies could reduce maintenance and operational costs and optimize their infrastructure and make new feature developments more cost effective. And all this leads into the cost savings in operations, but also a very big, like I would say, and great benefit for companies is their like capitalization, because modernization is an investment into the capitalization of business. And legacy software, if it starts to degrade, yeah, if it starts to be a problem for a business, it's in opposite. It leads to the like problems with the capitalization of the company.
Got it, got it. I guess if I would also answer the same question about the impact and value of this modernization, I would definitely also um, stress the security. We all hear how many cyber attacks are happening worldwide right now, and you need to take it into account. Secondly, would be the customer satisfaction. Again, as they see that you upgrade the application, think about new features. And here, what jobs to be done have to be fulfilled. You will also get your dividends. And of course, the key thing is definitely just strengthening your key asset, your digital product. And this asset becomes more and more valuable, more expensive, and at the end of the day, this is the key thing for any business. So I guess these three things should be in the focus. So again, Andrew, thank you very much for this discussion. I guess it would be insightful for many of our viewers. But when I say many, I guess around 100 people. But we keep growing. That's the key thing. So I would love to meet with you one more time and discuss some of these topics in more details. For example, about the best way to actually form this technical strategy, or how we conduct the technical audit. But so far, I'm really happy to have you here today, and looking forward to our next episode.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, and it was a great discussion. And yeah, look forward to continue this.